This should be episode 5 in the series, me converting this LIDL glider to radio control. In the last one I was talking about these Pushrod tubes that I bought, and ideally I was going to try and push them up inside the styrofoam, but then I had an alternative idea, and what I've done is I've used this metal ruler, held it along the line that I want, and then I've run my soldering iron down there to melt a slot. And that's just the right width for me to push that in. Not sure which glue I will use to get it in there, but we'll put some glue on that to hold it in place. And that should have the dual purpose of giving me somewhere to hold the push rod, and also it should strengthen the tail or the back of the fuselage. So I'll go and do that on the other side and then decide what sort of glue I'm going to use to hold that in place. Just a thought, let's just weigh this. 38 grams, that was the nose weight. 8 grams, oh, 69, so if I'm going to use that in there, I don't need to, that just happens to be a 2S LiPo battery I had in my bag there, but that will be significantly more weight. I've got a much smaller one I could use. But of course we're also adding weight at the back here with this plastic tubing, and there'll be a few other little bits and pieces. So, well, looks like we've got a fair bit of weight to play with. If we're going to use that, that's going to more than compensate for the weight of the push rods. Another little point while I've stopped doing any useful work, a lot of the guys apparently are getting rid of this polyhedral from the wings, making their wings flat, and to do that they cut a little bit out of the underside there and then just push them down flat and glue them in place. I'm not going to do that at the moment, because the reason for doing that is so that you can put ailerons on it. But I'm not going for ailerons, certainly not with the first build. We're just going to be rudder and elevator. I'll show you the technique I've been using. So I've got this, I called it a ruler, it's just a piece of aluminium strip actually. It's a straight edge. I've marked a couple of little dots to give me some reference points. Now I'm just going to run along the edge with my soldering iron. Right, that's just the first run to check that we're actually melting the plastic. In fact, I think I'll put my fan on and blow the fumes away a bit. Looks about deep enough. We need that to flick out at the end there, because obviously there'll be the rudder horn there, depending on which side I put it. And on that side the elevator. Sorry about that, if that woke you up. It's got to be about there somewhere. We've got a bit of flexibility there. As I say, hopefully that'll serve the dual purpose of carrying the push rods and strengthening the tail. And the other thing we can do is dig out in here with the soldering iron. To make some room for the battery and the receiver. I won't bore you by doing all of that now. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the servos just around here somewhere. It's a fairly thick bit of styrofoam there, or whatever this stuff is. So we can just cut a hole in there, push them in, and then they can turn and push the push rods, and we can probably even push the wires straight in so they come out where the radio gear is. I'm going to try this glue to glue it in. Dovecraft Ultimate Craft Glue, clear drying acrylic glue. I've used it on a few other things and it seems to work alright. It takes a long time to dry, but I'm going to put it in there, put that on top, smear a bit more over it, and then I'm going to wrap some masking tape around it to hold it in place, to make sure that we keep the fuselage straight, because if we just do one side at a time we'll end up with it twisted, I would think. So we'll do both sides at the same time. I'll leave these tubes a little bit over length at the moment, and I can adjust them later if I need to. They're only plastic, they cut easily with a knife. Same at the back, I'm going to leave them extra long for now, because that was a single 1 meter length. I've cut it into half length, and that's enough to do both sides. I haven't seen this method used anywhere. There's probably a good reason for not doing it this way, but that's the way I'm doing it. Let's take that out so we don't accidentally glue it in place. Right, the purpose of all that tape is just to hold it in place while the glue dries. Then all that tape's going to come off. I may even put a layer of glue over it afterwards, although I suspect some of the tape will glue in place, which I don't want. We'll find out. That'll do for now.